Imagine this. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're finally asleep after a long day, your family tucked in, the world outside dead silent. And then, brap, a motorcycle engine roars to life like a thunderclap. The walls shake, the windows rattle, and just like that, you're wide awake, heart pounding. That was my life. For almost 2 years. And when the police wouldn't help, I decided to handle it my own way. Intro call to action. Comma tone, personal and inviting. If you've ever had a neighbor who thought the world revolved around them, smash that like button. Subscribe if you love seeing karma in action. Because today's story? Oh, it's about one man's late-night motorcycle and how I finally shut him down. For good. Full narrative expansion. The setup, life before the nightmare. Back then, more than 10 years ago, my family and I lived in this quiet little neighborhood. You know the type. Kids riding their bikes until dusk, neighbors waving as they mowed their lawns, and at night, peace. The kind of stillness where you can hear the crickets outside your window. At least, it used to be peaceful. Just a few houses up the street lived a man who clearly thought he was starring in his own biker movie. I didn't know much about him, didn't care to really, but I knew one thing. He owned a Harley. And not just any Harley. A straight-piped beast that screamed louder than a jet engine. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate motorcycles. But this guy, he had a habit. And it turned our lives upside down. The antagonist, the neighbor from hell. Here's the routine. Middle of the night. 1 o'clock, maybe 3. Dead quiet. Then, out of nowhere, he'd fire that thing up like it was the Indy 500. And not just start it. Oh no. He'd rev it. Over and over. Like he was trying to wake up the entire city. Then, full throttle, he'd tear down the street, echoing off every house, every window, until he was gone. An hour later, same thing. He'd come roaring back in, throttle wide open, like a demon announcing his return. I never knew where he went. Buying drugs. Selling them. Some underground poker game? Honestly, I didn't care. All I knew was that dozens, maybe hundreds, of people were being jolted awake every single time. And here's the kicker. There was a cop, living right across the street. And still, nothing. Not a word, not a ticket, not even a warning. The emotional toll. Sleepless nights. At first, I tried to laugh it off. Okay, maybe he doesn't realize how loud it is. But trust me, after the 10th time you're lying awake at 3:15 in the morning with your heart pounding out of your chest, it stops being funny. I remember lying there, staring at the ceiling, anger boiling in my veins. My chest tight, my jaw clenched. My wife would toss and turn, muttering, "Not again." My kids would wake up, scared, crying, asking what the noise was. It wasn't just noise. It was disrespect. This man decided his midnight joyrides mattered more than the sleep of an entire neighborhood. And the worst part? We felt powerless. I'd lie there thinking, why does he get away with this? Why do the rest of us suffer while he roars off into the night? The fantasies. Dark thoughts. I'll admit, my thoughts started getting darker. You ever been so angry you imagine things you'd never actually do? I pictured a cable stretched across the road, snapping that Harley to a dead stop. Or a brick through his window. My pulse would race just imagining it. But then reality would sink in. I wasn't a criminal. I wasn't about to end up in jail over a noisy neighbor. Still, something had to change. 5. The breaking point. Enough is enough. After almost 2 years of this, one night pushed me over the edge. It was around 2:45 a.m. The neighborhood was silent. Until the inevitable blast shattered it. I remember sitting up in bed, fists clenched, blood pounding in my ears. My wife groaned, "Not again." And I realized, this was it. This wasn't just an annoyance anymore. It was war. The next morning, as I drove past his house on my way to work, I saw it. His Harley, parked proudly in the driveway. gleaming in the sun, taunting me. And then it hit me. The idea. Simple, subtle, effective. The plan. Roofing nails. See, I happen to have a box of roofing nails in the garage. Nasty little things. Short, sharp, perfect for puncturing tires. So that morning, I slowed down as I passed his house, rolled down my window, and casually tossed a handful right onto his driveway, right where his bike sat. It was small, almost laughable. But the message. Oh, it was loud and clear. The first strike. Did it work? For a few days, things were quiet. I thought, maybe he got the message. Maybe he finally understands what it feels like to be messed with. But nope. Less than a week later, BRAP. He was at it again. Back to his midnight chaos like nothing had happened. That was when I knew half measures wouldn't cut it. If I wanted peace, I had to go all in. The final blow. The full box. The very next morning, I drove by again. But this time, I didn't just toss a handful. I took the entire box of roofing nails, every last one, and scattered them across his driveway. A glittering minefield of sharp steel, waiting for his tires. As I drove away, my heart was racing. My palms sweaty. I remember gripping the steering wheel, thinking, this is it. He won't ignore this. The climactic revenge payoff. And you know what? It worked. From that day forward, silence. No more 1 a.m. revving. No more thunderous returns at 3:30. No more being jolted awake in the dead of night. Did he pop a tire? Maybe. Did he walk outside, see the nails, and realize the neighborhood was done with his crap? Probably. But however it happened, the message landed. Loud and clear. And the sweetest part? We finally slept in peace. Reflective wrap-up. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be violent or flashy. Sometimes it's about making someone feel the consequences of their actions, the same way they made you feel powerless and small. For me, a box of nails was enough to restore justice. Outro call to action. So, what do you think? Did this neighbor deserve it? Have you ever had a loud, disrespectful neighbor you wished you could teach a lesson to? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if this story gave you even a little satisfaction, hit that like button, subscribe for more real revenge tales. And remember, karma always finds a way.